Turf Business TV are here at Edgbaston. I'm joined by Simon Lee, who is now head groundsman at Hampshire.
Yep.
Simon, formerly you're down at Taunton for some time.
Yes, so I was at Taunton for 20 years and head groundsman for the last 10.
So joined as a 16-year-old, you were telling me.
That's right, yeah, from college placement. I was doing an ND in horticulture, so I did a placement for 24 weeks in '99 and then started back in full-time 2001.
So they were actually advertising for a role and they called you back in and said you
Yeah,
fancy...
I had a letter from the head groundsman of the time, Phil Frost, so after I'd done that work placement asking me if I wanted to apply, which I did because I didn't have a job at the time, so
Sure.
it worked out pretty perfectly really. And as a kid that's what I wanted to do because Somerset was sort of a bit of a hobby and a passion with cricket, and I loved the horticultural side of it as well, so yeah, it worked out really well.
So cricket fan,
Yeah.
hometown or home county,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
and then how many years, 20 years did you say?
So yeah, 20 years, yeah.
And then you got the step up after 10 years, I guess then?
That's it, yeah. So I was 10 years head groundsman at Taunton, and then, say, with Nigel Gray leaving Hampshire, Hampshire were keen enough to ask me if I wanted to go down there, and weighed up all the options, and it was really good to try and step up on a stadium side of things and scale of international matches compared to what we had at Taunton as well. So it felt like a good opportunity to move on and do a different stage of my career, really.
And, you know, some big footsteps to follow in as well, because there's been a path there of people going on to
Well, massively,
other
yeah.
things,
Not just Nigel, who was obviously at the old ground,
Yeah.
and then at the Ageas Bowl from the moment of its inception. So he pretty much built that ground, and then obviously taking over from Carl as well, McDermott, who obviously moved on to Lords 2 years, 18 months ago, from Hampshire as well. So yeah, some big shoes to fill, and hopefully I can try and fill them.
We've had a good track record at Taunton. You've picked up a few awards there, and you know, one of the reasons we're speaking to you is that I think, was it back in November, it was announced that you picked up ECB, was it One Day Award?
That's right, yeah. So we had our Groundsman's Awards in November here at Edgbaston again, and within that evening, afternoon sort of dinner, we have our awards for One Day Pitches of the Year, 4-day Pitches of the Year. We also have out grounds and university grounds as well. So yeah, I was fortunate enough to pick up the One Day Award again this year. I also won it last year as well, and this year I picked up with Robin from Cardiff, which was nice to share it as well.
Okay, so two different counties got, you know,
yeah, and that's
perfect scores, was
exactly, yeah, perfect scores, and that's the great thing about the awards. Actually, it shows that, and also cricket, to be fair, it shows how different grounds who do play differently and their soils react differently can still get the same kind of marks, but in a different way. So yeah, the marks are a really good way of showing that you're doing a good job. It's a good way for the ECB to show that the pitches are good. But yeah, hopefully we can get that out there and show people that actually we are producing the goods on the field for the guys to actually play a decent game of cricket, frankly.
And it's not the ECB sitting in their ivory tower there and just saying, oh, that's the guy who we think should, you know, pick it up this year for these awards. It's actually a compilation of scores throughout the season, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we're marked right way through the season. So obviously starting the spring in April and May, through to the midsummer and through to late September into the autumn. So you're dealing with a lot of different weather conditions. So those marks don't change, the system doesn't change. So you've got to adapt yourself to those weather conditions to still try and get those good marks.
And is it all games that count towards that, or all one-day games?
Yeah, so it's all one-day games for first-class cricket. So that would have been last year for me at Taunton. That would have been Somerset games. It would have been Western Storm, Women's Super League games, and also Women's International games for us at Taunton last year.
Now, you did have a couple of World Cup games as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we had 3 games last year, and that was, let's say, it's probably the biggest thing we've ever done at Taunton. It was fantastic to be a part of, and we've been building up for that for probably the 10 years of me being head groundsman. So, and they all went off really well. You know, good games of cricket. Had to fight the weather a lot in that early stage of that World Cup. We were battling the elements sort of days before. We literally just got the games on in time. But they all went really well, and we had really good feedback from the ICC and match managers who managed those games for the pitches and outfield and everything, yeah.
So in terms of your approach, did it change because they were, you know, big worldwide
No,
events?
not really. I mean, the only thing we had to change is just adapting to the really bad weather we had.
Right.
But my philosophy on one-day pitches, we tried to be the same. There was a little bit of chat around from the teams about pitches being a bit green visually. At Taunton, we historically had quite green pitches, but they never did anything apart from give you a bit of pace and bounce. So we had to try and take a little bit more grass off than I would have normally have done, just to try and facilitate the players and sort of almost calm that situation down a little bit. But that just meant a little bit more brushing, cutting, trying to lower that height of cut, really. If we'd had a bit more sun, it would have been easier because we could have just baked it a little bit longer. But unfortunately, we didn't have much sun when we had those World Cup games.
So to date, that would be peak of your kind of professional career,
Oh
would
yeah,
you say?
definitely. That is, and we had a IT20 England South Africa in 2017 at Taunton, so that was our first full big international we'd had for quite a long time. So that was pretty special to build up to that. But I would say, yeah, as a pressure situation, those 3 games, building up for such a long time for it, yeah, definitely.
Media spotlight, social media, did that
Oh,
all?
yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So we were fortunate enough to have 3 Asian teams play, subcontinental teams, and just the following that they have is just crazy. You know, the atmosphere they bring to the grounds is amazing, but the media side of it is just different world to over here. And you just had people everywhere trying to get your opinion, even though they shouldn't have been asking you questions, but they're always trying to get to you. So yeah, definitely, you had to sort of almost blinker yourself a little bit just to try and focus on your job.
And now a step up at Hampshire, obviously more recognised as a regular international ground. What have you got coming up that's kind of jumping out at you as your highlights for the next year?
I mean, straight away. So this year we got England, Australia, ODI. Okay. So I mean, that's just a fantastic reason why I would want to go there. You know, that's almost the pinnacle in it, England, Australia. So got one of those. We've got an England, Pakistan T20 as well. But then going forward, you know, we want to try and play Test cricket again at the Ageas Bowl. So that's the main reason why I wanted to go there. As a groundsman, I want to prepare a Test pitch because that's the ultimate test of a groundsman.
Is that part of your brief? Get it to a point where it could
Yeah,
be?
definitely. You know, if we can be preparing good pitches for Hampshire and 4-day cricket, still preparing good pitches for the international stuff in the 1-day sense, and almost not give anyone an excuse not to play there, I think, yeah, definitely it's part of my role to try and give that standard of cricket over a couple of years, and then it's down to the ECB then to make a decision.